Hey there, this is a serious episode of Kevin and Chris. This is Kevin, this is Chris, and we're gonna talk about something of substance here. Um, and basically we're gonna talk about gun control and kind of should we have it, should we not? I have different views on this. In some ways, I'm going to say it, liberal on it, right? But I'm also quite conservative in other ways, but I am not. I am not a leftist because leftism is bad. So we're going to let Chris say a few minutes of what he's thinking, and then I'm going to, I guess, comment. Please feel free to comment out there. This is a pretty hot topic. We have to get this straightened out. We have to do it now.
And I know that this conversation is going to straighten the whole thing out forever and ever.
And we got to be louder because of the shitty mic.
Okay. Must I lean forward?
Yes, please lean forward like you mean it.
Well, I will.
Paul McCartney, ladies and gentlemen. Paul McCartney.
Yeah, who's had a bad day. This is what I want to say about gun control. I'll be right to the point as much as I can, being very serious. Gun control makes absolutely no sense because the people that are looking at controlling guns are looking at the absolute wrong part of the equation. It's not the gun that's doing the killing, it is the person. Let me tell you just a few things about this. I'm going to make my point, I think, fairly well. I remember back about 10 years ago in Santa Barbara, there was some punk kid, and what that kid did was he got in his daddy's BMW. I think it was at the University of Santa Cruz or San Luis Obispo, and he ran over and killed 7 people in his car. This has been done many times, actually. People, when they don't have a gun or this or that, they hop into their car and they run down people. Now, just stop and imagine if you could find some busy place on some boulevard, it's just full of people, and you just ram your car into them. Mass murder, just like that. So hold that thought. In Russia, in Europe, there have been at least 2 or 3 incidents that I've heard. One I know in Russia, where some Russian madman grabbed a knife and he went around and he killed about 25 or 30 school children with nothing more than a knife, which would be pretty easy to do because they're school children. And it's also happened in other places. 15, 20 people have been killed by knives. I could keep going on that, but let me tell you about Peter Sutcliffe. He was the Yorkshire Ripper in England about 30 years ago. Very, very famous guy. He killed 13 people. He was a serial killer. He killed prostitutes. He killed 13, and he had 7 other charges where he attempted to kill people. And so there were 20 charges total, 13 dead. What did he use? A gun? No, because England does have strict gun control, and it's hard to get a gun there. Problem solved? Of course not. He went out and he bought a hammer, and he walked up behind the prostitutes, and he blasted them in the head with a hammer. And then he had a screwdriver, and he would stick the screwdriver in them. And so hammer, screwdriver. And he was killing people like crazy. So if you're following the logic of this gun control, what should we do? I could kill just as many people in a car as I could with a gun, believe me. So are we going to then outlaw cars? Are we going to outlaw knives, all kinds of knives, kitchen knives? Are we going to outlaw hammers? Because you can certainly kill somebody with a hammer. Screwdriver, you can certainly kill somebody with a screwdriver. What will we ban? All of these things? It's ridiculous. You can try to ban, and just one other little thing. Guns also take on the specter of drugs. There's a black market for them. As soon as you try to ban them, I assure you, just like people that want ecstasy or heroin, they're going to get it. There's always a black market for anything you try to stop. So the whole proposition on its face is ridiculous.
Oh, okay. That was quite well said. I want to say a few things in rebuttal to that. I actually I wrote an op-ed actually on this, and it was something concerning the slippery slope argument, and that we can do some gun control and we can do a little bit of slipping on the slope, but that does not mean we fall all the way down the slope. So we can have some common sense laws. I know people don't like that word common sense. We can have some common sense laws, and we don't have to go full pro-gun. We don't have to go full anti-gun either. I'm not sure why we don't have any visitors visiting now. Maybe it's because this topic is kind of a taboo topic.
Maybe it's because I was the one speaking.
Maybe it's because you were the one speaking. But I definitely like your Paul McCartney look. I want to say that. So I say keep that up. But about guns, so this is a thing. You say, well, people can, kill people with, cars, with, screwdrivers. Okay. But let's look at, now let me just say this without interruption. Okay. Not saying you were going to, but just in case you were going to.
Thank you.
People, what is the purpose of a car? So a car is to, get you to places. We kind of need them in this day and age. I guess if you're like super green, you ride a bicycle, we understand that. But you can also hit someone over the head with a bicycle, technically, and kill them too.
Yes.
So, you can kill people with anything. You can probably kill people with a pillow. I'm not sure how.
I know 6 ways.
Okay. Suffocate, right? So, but what is a car used for? It's for traveling. What is a pillow used for? It's for sleeping. What are these things made for? What's a pressure cooker made for? For cooking. No, wait. I didn't interject you.
No, okay.
Let me finish. Okay. So, what are things made for? Now, what is a gun made for? Now, I am for the Second Amendment.
Self-defense.
Okay, can I say this without interruption?
Okay.
What is a gun? The purpose, one can say self-defense, but the purpose also, the utility of it. When you go and use a car for its acute purpose, it's to take someone somewhere. When you actually engage in using a gun, it can cause mass carnage in seconds. Now, this is a very important thing. And with knives and hammers, yes, that could be something to kill people. But look, the guns are getting, there's the semi-automatics, and if you put bump stocks on them, they're almost like automatics. And that's what my article talked about, how we don't need bump stocks, because people want to get as close to automatic as possible. Why? If so, well, I'm a hunter. Well, you don't have to put 100 bullets in a deer in 10 seconds. You don't. Now you say, well, I have a right to, but there's supply and demand. So there's supply and demand. Okay, hold on. Now, if we take the demand, if we lessen the demand, get like the crazy people mental health, and if we hold on a minute.
Do I get to?
Let me finish.
Do I get to come in here at all?
God. No, let me finish what I'm saying.
God. Monologue.
Yeah, I just hate when people are people and just complain and interrupt. When I didn't interrupt at all, at all.
Yeah, but you're talking for 10
The
minutes.
whole, the last thing I'll say, I'm sorry I got angry, but goddamn. So, okay, go ahead. You have the floor as usual. Go ahead.
Well, I just, interject something in here. What you were saying, I thought,
I asked you, I said, please don't interrupt. And you said you wouldn't.
and I asked you that too, and you agreed, but I'm saying you're going on forever. I only took like 3 or 4 minutes.
And I was taking 4 minutes too.
I don't believe it was 4 minutes. But anyway, I just wanted to respond to what you said about the purposes of the car, which is to take somebody somewhere, or the hammer, perhaps putting a nail in.
Perhaps a hammer is used to put nails in.
Or whatever. Okay, yes, it is. But what I'm saying is, what difference does it make? That means nothing. You can take a car. Its purpose that it was made for was to transport people. But you can go have a different purpose for it. And I could run into a crowd of people and kill, believe me, 50 people, because you don't just stay there, you back up, and then you run into another group. So whatever the purpose is of these things, to me, is completely moot. These things can kill people. They do kill people. And if you're going to start legislating guns, you better start legislating cars, which is to say, you're going to take away guns, take away cars, take away hammers, take away knives, take away screwdrivers, and 50,000 other things.
Okay.
It makes no logical sense. Whatever.
Let me respond.
Now talk for 10 hours.
Okay, let me respond to that. Now, are you of the opinion of, well, why not take away anything? I mean, why not have anything then? Why not everyone have access to as many weapons that they want? Is that your position?
I would say, I believe, for instance, I have to preface this before I say it. Many of these school shootings that you've seen, they would have stopped way, way before 25 or 30 people were killed. There had been somebody else there with a gun. Let's say I was one of the professors. I would have walked in to where the shooter was, and I would have very comfortably blown his brains out. The point being, I think if you have guns around, I do believe that people should be armed, and I do believe they don't have to be, but they should have a right to carry a gun because it's a matter of personal liberty. I believe in carrying a gun on your person to save your own life. Though it's not politically correct, it's my life that I'm talking about, and
True.
I want to save my life. I don't care what's popular or fashionable. So yes, I would say people should be able to carry a gun for self-defensive purposes.
I agree with that. I'm not saying I don't. I mean, I agree that one should be able to defend themselves. And it's almost like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not. I believe if someone, all these shootings that happen like in the inner city, I'm pretty sure that if the bad guy knew that the other guy might be packing heat, then he may not shoot as easily.
Right.
One of my professors had a poster, "Fight crime, shoot back."
Right.
That's why I am vehemently against these stupid gun-free zone stickers, because serial killers themselves, mass shooters themselves, the guy who did the Aurora shooting said he was looking for the theaters that had gun-free zone on the window, right, because those are the places that he can kill the most people without getting shot. There are more than one serial killer that said, I only go to the gun-free zone stickers. So what I say in that case, every building, even if it's not armed, every building should have a sticker saying this building may be armed. this building may be armed very well. If that's put on a school, I guarantee the shooter's going to find an easier target. We need those stickers. But these stupid idiot leftists are like, well, we really need just, I don't like guns, and we just need to get guns out of the hands of everybody. We're not going to ever do that.
Right.
I agree with you on all those things, but where I disagree is, should we make weapons that kill mass people in seconds, should we make them less accessible or more accessible? I say, especially to crazy people that have like hit lists and stuff, I say we should make them less accessible, not more accessible, less.
Well, on that, I don't think the gun should be altered in any way. Well, in any way. But what I do believe is what they've been talking about recently is these background checks. And instead of just going through the motions on those, I think they should do background checks. Yes, absolutely, like you're trying to join the CIA or something. Mm-hmm. Complete and comprehensive background checks. They're going to show if you've been in mental hospitals or incarcerated. And any of those things immediately eliminate you. A lot of these killers that have been here recently have had things in their background, but apparently they're just missed. People are going through the motions. I don't know what, but yes, it's just like if you're going to join the Navy SEALs or the CIA, you have a comprehensive background check that goes back to your 1 day old. And that's what they should do with a gun.
I think that's where we have the common ground. I think that's one way of limiting access to people that are just bad psycho people. But there are folks in the NRA, and the NRA I think is way too pro-gun. But of course they're the NRA. Of course they're pro-gun. But I think they're so extreme. They're saying it's still, you know, the HIPAA. The HIPAA is the privacy right. So if you're in a psychiatrist and saying like I'm having like thoughts about like actually going and like killing people, apparently they can't even tell a doctor that because it would violate their privacy rights. Because if patients knew that the doctor could just tell everybody, then patients would never confess anything, not even to their therapists. So at least the therapist could help them maybe not shoot someone. But if they think the therapists are just going to blab and put it in the report, like we both want the report, but if the privacy is diminished now, the guy just shoots someone up without even going to the therapist now, because there's no. So it's like a win-lose situation. What do we do?
Well, another aspect of this is like there are many problems in the world that just simply have no solution. Now that may be the kind of answer that you don't like to hear, but many things in the world just cannot be solved, and they never will be. And I think this may be one of those. Trying to find that balance, you're never going to find the right balance. But I would just, getting back to the point, it's like, just as an example, car crashes. Nobody likes the fact, I would think, that there's 30 or 35,000 people that die every year from regular car crashes. But it seems like it's a steady thing, and people have errors in judgment, and a lot of times they're drunk, and they crash their cars, and 35,000 each year die. I don't think there's any real solution for that. It's just going to keep happening. One of the many things that I think you just have to accept in the real world that a lot of bad things are going to happen. We've never lived in a utopia. I don't want to get too far afield, but everybody wants, especially on the left, a utopian solution.
Right.
There are no utopian solutions.
The left is, sorry, go ahead.
And so gun control and people committing suicide and people dying in car crashes, there are always going to be problems because we don't live in utopia, and you're never going to really be able to solve those. All you can do is the best you can do. And when it comes to background checks, again, I would say, yes, you have to have the confidentiality, of the psychiatrist, what they said to the psychiatrist. But, I mean, you could also check matters of public record, like stays in jail, stays in mental institutions. You know, they climbed up on a building wearing a Mickey Mouse outfit and were throwing candy on the ground. Stuff like that, if you see it in their background, you just automatically check them off. But that isn't even being done because another problem, but it's not a problem, but just like these guys, the one that shot in Dayton, which was, it turns out he was an Antifa, or whatever that is.
Antifa.
Antifa.
Which actually means anti-fascism, but they are pretty fascistic. And
yeah, they're fascists themselves. In the supposedly fighting fascism, they've developed their own brand of fascism.
Absolutely.
But that guy, he had written, and you know this is true because it happens a lot. He had written on social media, and he had done a lot of things, and there was stuff everywhere. But the people that knew him from when he was in school said, we put out all these signals, all kinds of people, but it just went nowhere. It was ignored. So even when they have the information, it seems like nothing happens with it because we have a land of 340 million people and just so many people to do the checking that things are always going to slip through the cracks because, again, we're not in utopia, and crap is going to happen.
Right. I definitely think that is a good point. I think we actually have we do have a meeting of the minds here on the whole thing. If you see something, say something. I think we kind of can all agree, like Chris was saying, if someone, okay, background checks, how far do we go? I don't know how far we go and how much privacy is given away. But or how many guns do we ban? You know, how far do we go with, you know, do we ban semi-automatics, automatics? How far do we go? But what we can do is if you see something, say something. And like Chris was saying, Mr. Volkay, Chris Volkay was saying,
you can call me Chris.
Chris, there were people. These shooters had like Facebook posts and hit lists on who they wanted to like rape and murder. They were there. A lot of these killers. So just red flag these people. I would say if you're going around saying I want to kill all these people, that's the people you would take the guns away from. I think we could kind of agree on that. But with the political correctness, leftist ideology, well, let me give you San Bernardino, the two Muslim husband and wife that shot up 9 people in San Bernardino. Did you know that a person came forward after the shooting and said, I really, no, I'm just going to swear because this really pisses me. This is just fucked.
Plug my ears.
Yeah, this is just fucked. Okay, I said it. Unplug them, please. Unplug them. Thank you. They said, we suspected something was wrong. We just kind of knew this couple could have just lost it. But they didn't report it because they were Muslim and they didn't want to look Islamophobic or xenophobic. The left has taken xenophobic, Islamophobic, xenophobic, you know, all these phobics, and they have taken things like Nazism, and they have raped these words from the English language. They have raped them. They have raped them of their meaning. The left has diminished the Nazi atrocities. The left has essentially not liberals, but the left, okay? The left is kind of like the bad liberals. They have normalized the word Nazism so much. They have referred to, in a sense, by calling everything Nazi, they are denying the horrors of what Nazis did. They are denying the Holocaust. They are, in a way, this is true, being Holocaust deniers, and that is near unforgivable. So if you see something, say something. I think that's what we can both agree on. If you see something, say something. no matter if you are called racist or whatever the heck. Chris.
Yeah, and I would just add basically the same point, and it's been made by others. It's no breakthrough here, but when the left comes out and calls every single person that opposes them racist, what happens is the word racist loses all meaning, because now everybody, half of the country is called racist, and it's like Chicken Little, with the sky falling. Oh, we've heard this, 1,000 times before. Everybody that opposes you on the left, you just automatically call racist. So the word loses its meaning, and the word loses its punch. And it's the same thing with this Nazi thing. Yeah, they say in the old days they got to dismiss everybody by just saying, "Oh, you're racist," so boom, you've had it. But nowadays, being called racist is like being called somebody that's drinking coffee. They've overused it so much and misapplied it so much that they've just devalued the word to meaning nothing.
Right, and check. I know we were doing guns, but now we're on this. But there is kind of a connection. The left, and I don't know. I guess people would rather watch Justin Bieber videos or something than really have an intelligent conversation about guns. By the way, yes, you can converse with us by simply, if you want to make a little comment there, I think Kevin is wrong, and here's why. Please let me know. This issue is a big one. When the left yells Nazi and racism all the time, essentially calling half of the country racists or Nazis, how is that helping? How is that helping anything? How is that spreading love? That's just spreading division and hate. The left is not. The left wants unity. I don't think they want unity.
No.
The left, I'm telling you, diversity is not necessarily a bad thing, but the left wants diversity 100%. And now this is not all Democrats. This is the left. This is the left wing, which is like half the Democrat Party, I'll be honest. They want diversity so badly. But when it comes to unity as a country, they do not want it. They despise unity. They throw unity in the garbage. We can't be a united America. Yes, we can. We can be black, white, brown, green, orange Americans called America. We can have it. I think to succeed as a country, unity must be more important than diversity. Ooh.
Well, I think I covered just about all I have to say right now. You got anything else there, Kevin, baby?
Christy, baby, I don't think so. I think this was a great discussion. Please leave your comments about gun control, how we end this madness, if that's possible, in the comments below. I think we definitely have some common ground here, like with these kind of like, red flag, checks, and if you see something, say something. I think that's what we have to do.
I agree with all that. I just like to emphasize one of my points, and that is try to, in your little philosophy that you have, try to realize that you got to drop all the utopian wants and ideals you've got. The best thing you can do is, as I always say, incorporate the 3 words of Buddha, that life is suffering. Once you've incorporated that, you realize that it grounds you. Instead of always having these great expectations that never come true, it puts your feet on the ground. And what I'm saying is, in my opinion, gun control will never be solved. All you can do is do the best you can. People killing themselves, it's always going to happen. There's no utopian solutions for any of these problems and hundreds of others. But if you realize up front that life is suffering, that you realize all we can do is just do the best we can do. And I think you got to drop these big expectations that people have on the right and left, because they don't come true and they muddle your mind, and get your feet back on the ground.
Wow. Well, that was deep. This was a good conversation. This may be the best one I've ever had in a live format. chew on that, guys. We're going to come back next time with another topic. So thank you for